Chapter 001 Buy it back to warm the bed? Are you okay? Sear. A roar echoed through the spring snow lake, and the frightened people stopped to watch, somewhat curious about what kind of human tragedy had happened. There had just been a heavy snowfall a few days ago, and the scenery around the lake was covered in silver and extremely beautiful. It was the most beautiful moment of the year in Spring Snow Lake. However, at this moment, this beautiful scenery was ruined by the roar of a slaughtering pig. A man and a woman stood by the lake. The woman was wearing a pink dress, and the man was wearing a blue shirt and robe. He looked like a frail scholar. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, it would be hard to imagine that this roar came from him. Sear. Don't leave. Don't leave me. Everyone couldn't help but cover their ears. It was so terrifying that the demonic sound was filling their ears. The woman in pink clothes opposite the man was laughing so hard that she couldn't stand up straight. I love you just like the mouse loves. I love you so much. Shut up. Just when everyone was about to fall to the ground and die, someone finally stood up and interrupted. They looked at the woman who jumped out from the side. She was dressed in a light blue long coat with silver thread, which made her appearance more beautiful and her temperament outstanding. But this temperament is definitely just an illusion at first sight, because no one living in Lushue City does not know her name. This person is Luo Yunqi, the #1 pervert in Lushue City, the third lady of Luofu Mansion in the south of the city. Luo Yunqi walked up to the man with a dark face. Brother, can your expression be more exaggerated? Master, you said you should invest more? Investment? What do you call investment? People who have thrown themselves into the river are not as miserable as you. And you, smile, smile, laugh from beginning to end. Did I invite you to show off your laughter? I'm sorry, boss. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw his expression. Luo Yunqi rolled his eyes, remembering a saying he always heard in modern times. Are these two people invited by the monkey to be funny? If the usual lead actor hadn't returned to her hometown to get married, she wouldn't have changed the cast. This play will be performed in 3 days. You two had better hurry up and rehearse it. I brought you to the lake to create an atmosphere for you. I didn't just let you cry and howl. When people come and go see you acting like this, who will dare to come to our Luo Lee Square to buy a ticket to watch the play? I know, boss. We will rehearse well. After Luo Yun Qishuan finished speaking, they continued to rehearse, and she watched with a headache. I quite admire Miss Luo-san. How do you say this? Think about it. Third young Master Morong was infatuated with her, but she took it upon herself to cancel the engagement a while ago, causing third young Master Morong to jump off a cliff and commit suicide because of his love. Madame Morong went crazy after losing her beloved son. She is good, as if nothing happened. This is called beauty, misfortune. I think that third young Master Morong was considered a man of the hour in the city, but he was destroyed in her hands. Speaking of which, young Master Morong, who was relegated to immortality, why did he fall in love with such a demon king? Luo Yunqi frowned slightly. Sure enough, no matter in modern times or ancient times, the most indispensable thing is the gossip crowd. Morongze, doesn't look like a glass-hearted person at ordinary times. Why did she jump off a cliff just after rejecting a marriage? You guys practice first. She left Spring Snow Lake alone after leaving these words. Alas, I thought that she, a new human being in the 21st century, a descendant of the famous divination master Luo Jingguo, had to hang around in this ancient time without mobile phones, computers, and fun. She looked up to the sky and sighed. There was nothing she could do. The Luo family was cursed by a feud. She came to this ancient time because her mother divined that the destined person who could lift the curse was in Lushue city of Xian Kingdom, which was not recorded in history. She thought it was a simple task, but she has been here for a year, and she still hasn't found it. Walking on the street carelessly, she had already taken off the clothes of many eligible men. Not only did she not find anyone with a peach blossom mark on her waist and abdomen, but she also got the title of the #1 sex demon because of it. Tens of thousands of mud horses were galloping through her heart. Why are there so many people in front? Go and see. At this time, the passers-by around him were a little commotion. Luo Yunchi retracted his thoughts and followed him curiously and squeezed into the crowd. He saw a man kneeling in the middle of the crowd. There was a pole beside the man, with a piece of white paper hanging on it, and four big words written on it. Sell your body and bury your father. Luo Yunchi was so happy that she had actually encountered this deceptive plot often performed in TV dramas. She looked at it carefully. A grown man with both arms and legs. He was so young. It was hard to find any kind of job. He had to be a liar. Hey, kid, you're a man selling yourself here. Why do you want someone to buy you back? Is it possible to warm the bed? You're so weak. Can you do that? As soon as she said this, the passers-by all around burst into laughter. The man moved when he heard the words and slowly raised his head to look at her. His hair was a little scattered, and there were some gray stains on his face. He looked a little embarrassed, but even the situation could not stop his fairy-like temperament. The eyes under the sword-shaped eyebrows are as clear as the moon in the mountains. Under the bridge of Gao Ting's nose are beautifully shaped thin lips. Because of her teasing just now, the thin lips are slightly pursed, looking extremely innocent. Just this glance completely stunned Luo Yunchi, who was originally prepared to ridicule him and expose him. It wasn't that she was deceived by her beauty, but that she had a completely different appearance, but she felt that the look in her eyes was too familiar. She was so familiar that the first time they looked at each other, a name automatically popped up in her mind. Mirongs. She was startled by her sudden thought, and then she realized that although she had always avoided pursuing Morongze, she still felt more or less guilty about his death. She originally wanted to ask you if you were Morongze, but the person in front of you was obviously not. She thought it was a bit funny to ask such a topic. When the words came to her lips, she quickly changed. What happened to your father? Dead. The man's voice was calm, as if he didn't have much emotion, but if Luo Yunchi was careful enough, he would find a flash of surprise in his eyes when he saw her for the first time. It was a pity that Luo Yunchi was a little confused at this moment. She took out 10 taels of silver from her arms and handed it to him. Here, go buy a coffin and bury your father properly. Don't beg anymore. Find a job and live a good life. She asked herself that she was not a kind-hearted person, but facing the look in the eyes of the person in front of her, she felt an indescribable feeling for a moment. Thank you, female bodhisattva. Female bodhisattva, etc. It's really a bit. She was afraid that if she stayed any longer, he would suddenly say, the poor monk came from the eastern land and the Tang dynasty, so she wanted to leave. The female bodhisattva gave me the money, and I will be yours. No, it's just a mere 10 taels, so don't take it to heart. 12 taels is a lot. This young lady is very wealthy and spends money like water. All in all, I have no intention of buying you, so don't follow me. Luo Yunchi waved her hand and left directly. For some reason, she subconsciously resisted looking at this person. After she left, the man lowered his head and looked at the silver in his hand, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and there was some deep meaning hidden in his inky eyes. Chapter 00 to Why Are You Selling Yourself Here Again? Revised. Luo Yunchi went back to Luo Mansion, and when he came out from lunch, he was accompanied by a little girl of 14 or 15 years old. She had a baby face and was cute and cute. She was Luo Yunchi's half-sister Luo Miaoyuan. Third sister, are we going to see Sister Ruoying to visit the Lantern Festival? It's early. It's only noon. So, where are we going now? Don't you have to follow me out? Where do you want to go? Luo Miaoyuan pouted and thought for a while. There are so many places I want to go to. I finally managed to sneak out while my mother was not in the house. I have to have a lot of fun. Why not go to your Luo Li Fong to watch a show? The show is in the evening. But I have to go back at night. The two of them walked forward while chatting. because it was the Lantern Festival. The street was very lively, and there were many more jugglers than usual. Luo Miaoyuan dragged her around and ran around. Third sister, look, there are the most people around there. It must be the most interesting. Luo Miaoyuan pointed at the crowd at the entrance of the alley in front and said, and then without waiting for Luo Yunqi's response, she pulled her and ran over, squeezing her way into the crowd. Luo Yunqi didn't have much interest at first, but when she caught a glimpse of the kneeling man in the middle, her expression was stunned. I'm talking about you, kid. Didn't I just give you money this morning to let you? When I said this, I paused for a moment because I found that the words on the white paper seemed a little different from the ones in the morning. Sell yourself to bury mother? Depend on! What the hell? I just buried my dad this morning, and in the blink of an eye, my mom is also on the street. Is there really such a coincidence in the world? Luo Yunqi looked down at the body lying on the ground and covered it with a mat, but judging from the exposed clothes and shoes, it was indeed a woman's. Your mother, why? The man looked up at her, this time with a sad look on his face. When my father died, my mother was extremely sad and went with him. If you listen carefully, you can still hear a hint of grievance, as if he is accusing his parents and leaving him alone in this world. Luo Yunqi doesn't know what to say. Although she thinks it's too coincidental, looking at these eyes, she really can't bear to doubt him. Your condolences and acceptance. He didn't have a lot of money with him, so he handed him a 100-tael silver note. Take it and buy another coffin to bury your mother and your father together, so that they can fulfill their deep love as husband and wife. Thank you, female bodhisattva. Well, it's actually just a small effort. Don't call me a bodhisattva. I can't afford it. She was afraid of being struck by thunder. Then the girl came to help me over and over again. I don't know what to call her. My name is Luo Yunqi. What's yours? For some reason, Luo Yunqi felt that he was looking forward to his name. He frowned, remembering the seal with the words Jun Zailing seal engraved with him. He hesitated and replied casually, Jun Zailing. Jun Zailing? A flash of disappointment flashed in Luo Yun's 7 eyes. She felt that she must have been fooled to think that he was Murongzhe, and Murongzhe was already dead. Miss Luo, from now on... Stop it. I'm still saying the same thing. I have plenty of money, so I can reward it to whomever I'm willing to give it to. Just think of it as picking it up for free. Luo Yunqi was afraid that he would rely on her again if they disagreed, so she grabbed Luo Miaoyuan and ran away. Third sister, please run slower. No. What if I catch up if I'm too slow? But why should we be afraid of him catching up? Since he sold his body to bury his mother, and you gave him the money, he should have followed you. Luo Yunqi stopped. Having said that, she just didn't want to have more contact with that person, especially that look in his eyes. Chapter 003, How Dare You Lie to Me? First update. Meow meow, although your sister and I are recognized as perverts, I am not pervert to everyone. His appearance does not suit my taste. Afraid that Luo Miaoyuan would see something, she muttered randomly, and Luo Miaoyuan looked confused. Although he has a gray face, his features are quite good-looking. I don't think there are many people in Lushui City who can compare with him. The facial features, the last things she dared to look at were the facial features. Alas, could there really be such a similar person in the world? What's even stranger is that it's not the looks that are similar, but the eyes. You think we have so much money to support idle people. Didn't you just say you have a lot of money? Okay, come on, I'll take you to the lake. Here Luo Miaoyuan felt that her third sister seemed a little strange. Over there in the alley, Jun Zailing was leaning against the wall with a leisurely expression, and a middle-aged couple stood in front of him. The people in Lushui City are really stupid and rich. The woman looked at the silver and banknotes in her hand with gleaming eyes. For the first time, she felt that making money was so easy. Playing this area twice is already an adventure. How about changing to another area? The middle-aged man suggested, and the woman nodded in agreement. Pretend again. June Zeeling spoke leisurely, and the middle-aged couple were stunned. What? But if you pretend again, you will definitely be exposed. So, what if I expose it? What he wants is to be exposed. If he is not exposed, how can he rely on it openly? Luo Yunqi took Luo Miaoyuan to swim in the lake for an afternoon, hoping to temporarily put aside all the recent worries. Alas, he didn't know when he would be able to complete the task and return to the modern world. Third sister, I'm so hungry. Let's go to Zuixiangla to eat something delicious. Luo Yunqi looked up and said, It's better to go back home. Your mother might go back. It was already approaching evening. If Luo Miaoyuan's mother-in-law, Sun Yan, knew that she had followed him out, something might happen. That woman was vicious and annoying. She hadn't figured out how to deal with her yet, so she didn't plan to have a head-on confrontation. Third sister? Luo Yunqi was lost in thought when Luo Miaoyuan beside her suddenly shouted loudly, startling her. What is the name of a ghost that roars? Third sister, look quickly. What are you looking at? She looked in the direction of Luo Miaoyuan's finger. After seeing the scene in front of her clearly, her face turned extremely ugly. Isn't that the beggar we met at noon who sold himself to bury his mother? Third sister, you clearly gave him 100 taels, but why did he sell himself again? Luo Yunqi narrowed her eyes and looked carefully at the words hanging on the bamboo pole. Sell yourself to bury your parents. Okay, it's really good. I'm addicted to selling endlessly. She actually thinks his plight is pitiful. Poor little guy. This scumbag is a complete liar. Unexpectedly, I, a modern person, would be deceived by ancient people thousands of years ago. I was deceived twice. It was so embarrassing. You dare to lie to your aunt, and you don't want to know who I am. Luo Yunqi. If you want to kill me, I will help you today. She looked both ways, and then saw a wooden stick on the ground on the left side of the street. She stepped forward to pick it up and weighed it in her hands. I can't beat you to death, but I can also cripple you. Chapter 00, for I can only pledge myself to you. Second update. Third sister. What do you want to do? Meow meow, just wait here for me. Don't run around. I'll go and deal with it, and then come over. After speaking, he put the wooden stick in his hand on his shoulder and strode directly towards June Zeeling, who was kneeling there. The onlookers felt the murderous intent, and all moved out of the way. What a coincidence, we meet again. Luo Yunqi smiled brightly. June Zeeling looked up and saw a somewhat panicked look on his face. Luo Yunqi cursed. He only started to panic now. It's too late. Your handwriting is pretty good. She was shaking the wooden stick in her hand and looking at the paper hanging on the bamboo pole. June Zeeling smiled faintly. Miss Luo is so complimentary. I deserve it. Really? Since you deserve it, don't suffer it. Let me help you. As he spoke, he waved the wooden stick in his hand, and with a bang, the bamboo pole broke directly in the middle. The onlookers stepped back, fearing that they would be hit by the falling bamboo pole. Miss Luo, what do you mean? Oops, I'm sorry, my eyesight was a bit awkward, so I missed the target. Originally, I wanted to swing the stick at the two corpses beside you. The corpse lying on the ground trembled subconsciously after hearing this, and June Zeeling looked at her angrily. Why? Everyone in Lushui City knows that I, Luo Yunqi, am the most powerful in fortune-telling. I just calculated with my fingers that there is something wrong with these two corpses. The resentment is too deep, and there is a possibility of corpse transformation. What she said was quite mysterious, but the people present didn't really believe it, because the people of Lushui City all knew that the third lady of the Luo mansion never got her fortune-telling right, and she was worse than the average charlatan. Oh, how can we solve it? Fortunately, you met me. Seeing that we are quite destined, I will show mercy and help you. I will beat them 10 times with sticks and then cremate their bodies. Then everything will be fine. How dare you? Haha, there is nothing in this world that I, Luo Yunqi, dare not do. What? Do you want to try it? No. At this time, the two corpses lying on the ground suddenly jumped up. The passers-by around them were all stunned, and then watched helplessly as the two corpses ran away from their eyes. Ran away, ran away? Only then did everyone come back to their senses. Wu Cao, really? Of fraud. Corpse. Got it. Could it be said that Miss Luo San's divination ability has become stronger? Luo Yunqi raised the corner of his mouth and smiled, and said with a soft smile, Your parents are really tough. Unexpectedly, Jun Zealing, who was kneeling on the ground, suddenly stood up. Luo Yunqi subconsciously took a step back and found that he was a head taller than him. The scene instantly changed from looking down to looking up, and he felt that his momentum was suddenly much weaker. Jun Zealing looked at her innocently and sighed. Hey, you ruined my livelihood, but you have to be responsible. Oh, how can I be responsible? Promise yourself. She moved the stick in her hand forward, pressed it against his chest, and said fiercely, If you dare, say it again. No guts. Jun Zealing simply gave up. Everyone who originally wanted to watch the show looked contemptuous, but he seemed not to be embarrassed at all, with a natural look on his face. You know the truth, Haraha, so I have to suffer a little loss, and I pledged myself to him. Luo Yunqi was smiling vigorously. Hearing this, he didn't raise his voice and almost threw himself into the street with a quick glance. Chapter 005, I'm afraid you'll fall in love with me. Please collect. Damn liar. Do you really think I don't dare to beat you? Luo Yunqi mentally weighed the possibility that the person in front of her knew martial arts. She had been around for a year in ancient times and had only learned a little about the three-legged cat self-defense, so she couldn't take action casually when she was unsure. But if this person is good at martial arts, he shouldn't have to cheat on the streets, right? You just said that your best thing is divination? So what? Jun Zealing raised his eyebrows and smiled. Then we are a liar and a magician. Aren't we a perfect match? Everyone roared with laughter. It was rare to see someone dare to silence this number one sex demon. You must know that any good-looking man would be like a mouse seeing a cat when seeing Luo Yunqi, and would have no time to hide. Who are you talking about? Luo Yunqi squeezed these words out from between his teeth. He could hardly control the stick in his hand. How could there be such a hateful person in this world? I just threw away 110 taels in vain. I might as well buy some food to feed the dog. If you were really powerful, how could you not figure out that I was a liar? And you were deceived by me twice. Divining for you? What a beautiful idea. People like you waste air when alive and wasteland when dead. Don't you call me the female bodhisattva? I can be compassionate and cremate you, and then scatter your ashes in the smelly ditch. My lady is right. What? I have already pledged myself to you, so of course you are my wife. I have never seen such a thick-skinned person before. Luo Yinchi didn't bother to talk nonsense to him anymore. The guilt she felt because his eyes were so similar to Morongze's eyes has now disappeared. She picked up the wooden stick in her hand and greeted him directly. I can't kill you. Madam, please don't be impulsive. If we have something to say, we should talk about it. Ouch! Jun Zealing held his head and ran around. Luo Yunqi saw that he didn't know martial arts and became more courageous. The people around him stayed away to watch the show. With a bang, Luo Yunqi kicked over a fruit stall on the roadside. Jun Zealing quickly dodged and was not affected, but the stall owner was in trouble. If you're a man, don't run away. I think the question of whether I am a man or not can be studied slowly in my room. There is no need to prove it here. Really? Why hide in your room for such a good thing? Isn't it more exciting on the street? Jun Zealing was surprised when he heard this. So the lady is so open-minded? Afraid. Yes, scared. If you're afraid, just give it to me. I'm afraid you'll fall in love with me. Luo Yunqi's hand on the wooden stick tightened. There had been too many unlucky things recently, and he just needed a chance to vent. He could only count the person in front of him as unlucky. The problem is that the man in front of him seems to be incompetent in martial arts and timid, and he is running around. However, Luo Yunchi chased him for a long time and was unable to hurt him at all. Every time he was about to hit him, he would slow down by half a step. Luo Yunchi couldn't help but have some doubts. Good luck is not such a good idea. He always felt that something was wrong. This man actually dares to mess with Miss Luo-san. The passers-by who were watching the show did not forget to comment a few words. That's right. I think he's not bad looking. The better looking people in Lushui City are trying their best to avoid Miss Luo-san. He's just like sending a sheep into the tiger's mouth. If you put it that way, I think he is quite similar to third young master Morong in this regard. That's right. Like Morongze, his heart was set on Miss Luo-san, and in the end he jumped off a cliff and committed suicide because he was rejected for marriage. Hearing these words, Jun Zeeling, who was avoiding the attack, suddenly paused and his eyes darkened. However, just after this pause, he received a solid stick on his back. Luo Yunchi originally wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to hit her with a few more sticks, but who knew that Jun Zeeling suddenly turned around and rushed to her side, and then pressed her whole body against the wall before she could react.